Hello, I'm Anthony Giarrusso. This is 5/26, 2024. Today's bizarre dream that I remembered was extremely short, but it was very pleasant. I really enjoyed it. So I had a very vivid dream of myself going to Alfa Romeo Melbourne, which is a dealership. And that's Melbourne, Florida, not Melbourne, Australia, just in case if you're from overseas. This is Melbourne, Florida, USA. And in this dream, I dropped off my Chrysler 200 and I parked, and I got into a brand new Alfa Romeo Giulia with metallic red paint and red seats. That's literally the car that I've been thinking about potentially getting in real life. It's a luxury car, but it's not outrageously expensive. It's about $17,000 less expensive than a Mercedes-Benz E-Class, so from my point of view, it's actually very good value. In the dream, I got into this metallic red Alfa Romeo Giulia, which is a sedan, okay, 4 doors, and it had those red seats just like I liked, and I drove off in it. Right off the lot without talking to anyone, without getting any permission to go on a test drive. Then there's a short cutscene of some Italian guy wearing, he's probably in his, I don't know, maybe mid-40s. He was wearing these like brown shoes, light beige pants. Like, he looked like a sales representative. He had like a light brown, it's kind of like a jacket that you would wear as like a business jacket. And then I forget what color his shirt was. I'm thinking it was maybe like a light blue or an ice blue, I don't remember. Anyway, this cutscene of this guy, oh yeah, and he had like, kind of longish, really roughly looking hair, wavy hair. It wasn't, like super curly. Like, I think there was like a few curls in with the waves, but it was like really black too. And his skin tone was, like my skin, Italian kind of sand colored skin. And he was a lot thinner than me. Anyway, so in this cutscene of this man, it said, "I like a man who takes action. A man of action is the kind of person I want to sell to." Then, it goes back to me driving the Alfa Romeo. There's like a little bit of traffic going by. But what was weird is it didn't look necessarily exactly like the area of where this Melbourne Alfa Romeo dealership was. It was kind of strange. It literally went into, like, it had the 2 lanes on each side with the white dash line down the middle. And the direction I was heading looked like a bridge, which obviously does not exist in Melbourne, Florida, USA. Now, there are bridges there, but not like this, like the one in my dream. And the bridge, I forget the kind of bridge, but it was black. And it's one of those bridges where the support beams are above instead of below. But it wasn't a suspension bridge. I forget the kind of bridge. They're more commonly seen as train bridges, but I forget the kind of bridge. And it was painted black, the whole bridge, which was unusual. And I'm driving this Alfa Romeo. After a couple cars pass, I safely make those maneuvers off the lot, and I start driving on this bridge, and then I start accelerating at high speeds, and I'm like, wow, this car really has a lot of pep, more than this Chrysler that I own. And then I'm driving it, and I'm weaving through traffic on this super long bridge going over, I don't know what kind of body of water. I mean, it was huge. Okay, much bigger than anything you'd see in Melbourne. And the bridge was probably high enough for, like, ships to pass under. I'm weaving through traffic, and a couple times I was getting over 80 miles an hour on this bridge. I'm like, whoa, this is really fast. And I had to, like, let off the gas a couple times. It was like, I think one time I actually used the brakes to slow down. And then at the end of the bridge, this started to get weird. Then it looked like I was playing like a PlayStation. Kind of like a PlayStation 3 or PlayStation 4 controller. I don't remember exactly, but it was silver. And I'm using this PlayStation controller. And I'm looking at a TV. And there's a red Alfa Romeo Giulia, just like the one that I had been driving in the dream. And then somebody else was near me. It was a man who was white-skinned with kind of very short, blondish hair. And he's just standing watching the TV of me playing this game. And then somehow I turned into like a white-skinned, like, little girl playing the video game, and it was like really short, wavy, light brown hair. And that only happened for maybe about 4 seconds, and then it sucked what I was seeing in the dream into the screen of the TV, and then I'm driving the red Alfa Romeo again. And then I see on the screen, like it's just, like the whole dream just becomes a screen of racetracks, as if it was like Gran Turismo or something. And it showed all these racetracks. I wasn't familiar with them. And one said, remember, like an Iowa Raceway or something, like Iowa, USA. But that wasn't clicked on. It was clicked on like this real track. It was a sprint track, meaning a point-to-point, and it was in China, and that's what was clicked on. But then it went back to me driving the real Alfa Romeo, and I was driving on Chinese roads with all the Chinese symbolism and how they have, like, you know, like how like Japan has those unique roads, while also China has very unique roads because of how they do all those weird like parallelograms and different colors like on the side of the road, and they have like the Chinese letters in the middle. Okay, so this was a Chinese road that I was driving on, and it had the walls like that. Like on some of the roads, they've got like concrete walls on the sides. So if you crash into a concrete wall. And I'm driving this Alfa Romeo Giulia on these Chinese roads, and it looks extremely realistic, like I'm really doing it. And then all of a sudden, my Alfa Romeo changes color to a matte black with one gold stripe across the, well, it wasn't really stripe, like a gold tear across the hood, and there's another gold tear, another, not gold tear, there's another tear right next to it, and it was a blue tear, and it was a bright blue, and it was it was parallel to the gold tear, and both tears were offset. So I don't particularly like offset stuff, liveries, but that's what happened in the dream. That the Alfa Romeo became matte black with these two offset gold and blue tears, one of each, kind of wide, and they were just over the hood. Then I see that little girl again playing the PlayStation with the other guy watching, and then I go around a corner, and the little girl is playing like as if she's driving me, but I'm the one actually driving in the Alfa Romeo Giulia, which is so weird. And all of a sudden, I go around another corner, and then in the video game, or real life, I don't know what the heck was going on, my Alfa Romeo went to a really crazy livery all the way around with gold, blue, and a little bit of black. And it got like a really big spoiler, and it looked like it got like a body kit as well. And I'm racing in this Alfa Romeo, and it looked like the red seats had turned into racing seats, and I also ended up getting a roll cage, and that was all black. And then I'm racing in this Alfa Romeo on this China street. I think it was like a time trial because there's no other vehicles on the road. And it's like I'm racing an Alfa Romeo Giulia race car, or just a Alfa Romeo tuner or something. And it was crazy. I ended up going around like 6 or 7 bends on these Chinese roads, and then I came across the finish line of this strange Chinese sprint road, and then I woke up from the dream. So that's my bizarre dream for today. Thank you for listening. 5/26, 2024. I'm Anthony Giarrusso. Have a wonderful day. Goodbye.